Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is John Phillips, co-founder of PredictIt, the stock market of politics. We have a good one lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about what traders think regarding the New York City mayoral election. We'll also take a look at German politics as well. John, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. It's good to be here.
All right. And of course, New Yorkers are definitely going to tune in for this one, but anything that happens in New York City really does make global headlines. What are traders looking at in terms of the mayoral race?
Well, it's what an interesting race it's turning out to be in New York. Of course, it's all in the primary, and that's when the next mayor is selected. And to hear a lot of New Yorkers say it, they don't think they've been well served by previous mayors selected by a very small percentage of the electorate. Nevertheless, those are the rules we play by. And it looks right now as if Yang is walking away with this nomination for mayor of New York City. I mean, it's not even subtle. He's up 66%, 66 cents out of a dollar that Yang is going to be the Democratic nominee and therefore the next mayor of New York. Now, there's some time until the election, but time is running short, and the Yang forces are pretty well organized. Following Yang, who's down, he's at 66. He was at 70 over the weekend. You've got Adams, who's at 16% odds, and then Stringer, who's at 13. So there's a big gap. Now, those guys have been climbing 4% and 3% respectively. But right now, traders are convinced that Yang is going to be the next mayor of New York City.
John, what's interesting is for as long as we've been covering content together, I don't recall any other candidate, whether it's in the States or around the world, that had such a substantial lead, 70% over the weekend, 66% now. I don't think we've ever discussed another candidate with those kinds of odds.
Especially with a dozen candidates in the race. I mean, it's as if Yang has sucked up all the oxygen in terms of the odds for mayor of New York. Now, you know, there's time between now and the election, but Yang's an experienced campaigner, but so too are his opponents. I think you're going to see this narrow down even more quickly with the 1% and 2% and 3%ers dropping out and those votes accruing to the benefits of someone other than Yang. Will that be enough to stop Yang? Probably not.
And then on the flip side, if I recall, the German election's a little bit more tight than what we're seeing in New York.
Yes, it's so interesting what's happening in Germany as well. So you've got the Green candidate, Baerbock, who is at 20% in the polls, but that's enough in the elections there to virtually guarantee she's going to be part of a coalition that's formed to rule the country. So she's the Green candidate at 20%. There's the candidate from Bavaria. His name is Söder. He's taken hard line on immigration and some other issues that are of concern to Germans. He's at 57% odds to be the next chancellor. So you've got Söder, and then you've got Baerbock at 57% and 20% respectively. This is going to be a really important race to watch, not just because it's going to be contested, but also because Germany plays such a dominant role in European politics. And with all that's going on to the east of Germany, it's going to, and to the south, with the economic issues and the pandemic, this is a real important election for a lot of people to watch who aren't necessarily living in Germany.
All right, John, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Jill.